Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I call to order the Wickliffe City Council meeting of October 9th, 2023. Sandy, please call the roll.
Ballard.
Excused.
Gerhardstein.
Here.
Jaworski.
Here.
Koski.
Excused.
Levon.
Here.
Saloto.
Excused.
Thielman.
Here.
Approval of council minutes.
I make a motion we approve the council minutes from September 25th, 2023.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Gerhardstein, second by Councilman Thielman, to approve the council meeting minutes of September 25th, 2023 as presented. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Gerhardstein.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Thielman.
Yes.
Reports and communications from the Mayor, Safety Director. I have his written report. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it to the meeting tonight. First topic was a budget for, what I'm assuming he meant was 2024. We've begun the process of budgeting for 2024. Ms. Hunter has sent out worksheets to all the administrators. As soon as we have compiled the information, we will be requesting a meeting for the Finance Committee to discuss the budget. I would ask the Council President to add this item to the Finance Committee so that when we are ready, a meeting can be called. And also, leaf season will begin soon. The Service Director Strasser may address this during his report. So I will add 2024 budget to the Finance Committee. Okay, moving on, we'll go to reports and communications from the Director of Law.
Nothing to report.
Any questions or comments for the Law Director? Thank you, Jerry. Reports and communications from the Council President. I have none. Any amendments or additions to the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to the administrators. Please, Chief Bush.
Thank you, Council President Levon. I just got a couple things. October 22nd, the police department will be joining all the other departments at the Lake County Captain's Stadium for the trunk or treat. It's from 6 p.m. till 8 p.m. So there's going to be a large crowd over there, and the presence of our police department will be there also. We did offer a job to one lateral entry applicant today, and he accepted the job, so we have filled one of the positions that are open right now. And then finally, I'd like to just read this commendation award that one of our officers received recently. This was written by Chief Nagley from Willoughby Hills Police Department. It is with great pride I submit Willoughby Hills Police Sergeant Shannon Vichet, Willoughby Hills Police Officer Richard Harmon, and Wickliffe Police Officer Nick Merrifield for a Lake County Associations of Chiefs of Police Award for their heroic actions while stopping an armed individual from stabbing himself. On Thursday, July 13th, at approximately 2:30 a.m., Willoughby Hills police officers responded to the area of I-90 eastbound exit ramp at Somme Center Road. Dispatch received a 911 report that a suicidal male armed with a knife had exited his wife's vehicle, jumped over the guardrail, and ran down the hill to what can be described as a deep bowl with heavy brush and tree cover. Sergeant Vichet requested mutual aid assistance, and Wickliffe officer Nick Merrifield responded to the scene. Officers set up a perimeter. Rescue squad personnel was called to the scene, and a search for the individual began. A short time later, the male was spotted trying to climb up the hill towards Sergeant Vichet. Sergeant Vichet observed at this time the male had multiple areas of clothing covered in his own blood. He was ordered to drop a knife, but stated he could not do that, and he was not going to be arrested. He was ordered several more times to stop coming towards the officers with the knife, at which time the subject sat down near a brush and turned from officers. Sergeant Vichet steadily communicated with the individual throughout in an effort to de-escalate the situation and keep the male calm. This situation quickly turned as the male began to scream and repeatedly began stabbing himself in the chest. At this time, Sergeant Vichet, Officer Harmon, and Officer Merrifield closed the distance in an effort to intervene. Sergeant Vichet was armed with a less lethal taser while assisting officers covered. He was ordered several times to drop the knife, and he refused, telling officers to just shoot him. The subject then stood up with the knife. Sergeant Vichet successfully deployed the taser, and the male threw the knife away. Officers moved in and took the subject into custody. He was assisted by all three back up to the waiting rescue squad. The male was subsequently transported for medical treatment and a psychological evaluation. Despite the subject's erratic and violent behavior, the officers involved not only handled the situation bravely, but treated the individual professionally throughout the contact. This situation may have ended up much differently had it not been for the coordinated efforts of the officers involved in this dangerous call. So all three of those were presented with with an award from the Lake County Police Chiefs for extraordinary valor. So I thought that was excellent police work by all three of us and by our own officer, Nick Merrifield. And that's all I have.
Well, thank you, Chief Bush, for reading that. We all were made aware of that this week as well. We want to commend Mr. Merrifield for that, his police work on that. Any other questions or comments for the police chief? Thank you, Chief. Acting Fire Chief O'Neill.
Yes, there is an ordinance on the docket for tonight, it's B, that I wanted to address. I know there's some questions about it, so I'm going to give you a little bit of background about what we have, and then that will better answer the questions that you get through. So our fire department has 3 LifePak 15 monitors / defibrillators and 3 CPR Lucas devices. It's an automatic device which does chest compressions, which frees up the firefighters to do other actions. The ordinance, or the then and now, is a contract that we have for maintenance of some of this equipment. In a capital request from this year, there was 2 LifePak monitors on the capital request with a list of things that it included. And underneath the inclusions was a maintenance plan. And so I touched base with Lieutenant Nick Mann, who is in charge of our EMS equipment, and he did verify that, and we did actually find out the paperwork, that yes, that capital request is right. The purchase that we made on this year's monitors does include the maintenance program. Also, we had a new Lucas device in 2019, which was bought on a grant, and that also comes with a maintenance plan. So we have a 2016 LifePak, a 2016 Lucas device, and 2017 Lucas device, which did not. So we entered a 5-year contract with Stryker last year to maintenance those annually for the next 5 years. So those are the 3 that are covered in the then and now. So it is a maintenance program for those 3 devices. The other 3 devices are covered upon their purchase.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification. Is there anything else you want to report on?
That'll do it. Thanks.
Okay, any questions or comments for the fire chief? Councilman Gerhard
I
Stein.
just want to thank you for looking into that. I know that was a question that you and I talked about today, so.
Yeah, it was, we did some digging, but yeah, we got
Well,
to it. Thanks.
Now that everybody knows it's,
Yeah, it was a very fair concern and question, so I have no problem addressing that at any time.
thank you.
Unfortunately, the only issue is that because that's on emergency reading and suspension, we don't have enough council people to pass that tonight, or any of the ordinances or resolutions
We
tonight.
touched base with Stryker, and they know that we're going to be, we're not going to get penalized for the late payment.
Okay. Thank you, Chief. Finance Director Hunter.
Thank you, Council President. I'm still putting some finishing touches on September, but I can tell you that the general fund balance, carryover balance, should be about $7.1 million.
Thank you. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Any questions or comments from the Finance Director? Thank you, Ms. Hunter. Engineer Formica.
Thank you, Council President. One thing to add to my written report, I finished up last week the evaluation of all the sections of pavement in the city of Wickliffe. I'm currently inputting those evaluations into a spreadsheet per se that will calculate the PCR, pavement condition ratings for each segment, and I'll have a report to you once that's all wrapped up. That's all I have.
Any questions or comments for the city engineer? Thank you, Pete. Service Director Strauser.
Thank you, Council President. Just a couple things. I will address the leaf season starting next Monday, October 16th. Be light duty crew, just out one crew out that week, and then expect to go to 2 crews the week after. These are just starting to fall. There's a few piles out there, but not many. Also, the other thing I did want to mention was Stanford and Dennis are scheduled for their final round of pavement this week. Weather permitting, they're supposed to come in Wednesday and Thursday, or Thursday and Friday, depending, and hopefully get that last final coat down, and those streets will be 99% done after that happens. So we're happy with that. And then hopefully onto the cemetery after that.
Okay. Any questions or comments for the Service Director? Councilman Jaworski.
Ron, you mentioned leaf pickup starting October 16th. How late do you guys anticipate doing the leaves this year?
I put out there that we're going to go through at least December 1st, but we're going to go further than than that. Every year we end up going into at least mid-December, and now the Kimball's yard waste actually stops on December 15th. So a lot of times if there's still big piles out there, we'll go out and pick them up, stuff like that. So we actually picked up almost to the end of the year last year, but again, I don't want to commit myself if there's too much snow, I have to convert those trucks over to salt trucks, so that's why I always say, that's how I always get the date of December 1st.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Gerhardstein?
So, Ron, the truck that you ordered, did that come in?
Did
The-
not.
Okay, I could have asked the chief this, but his police car came in that he got, that was for this year, right? Is that is that on the road now? No?
I don't think so, not yet. It
No,
hasn't
Hall
switched
will,
over.
we're still waiting on Hall to get on their, it's on their schedule. He said, I'm guessing we'll probably get it, they'll start working on it in about 1 or 2 weeks.
And you have no set delivery date on your snowplow?
It's probably gonna be January, February, they're hoping. Actually, the mower that I ordered last November got pushed back to next May. It's crazy with delivery. As a matter of fact, I still don't even have my leaf machine ordered yet because they weren't taking orders. Now that this season started and they're pushed out, they're gonna let me go ahead and order this year, so. It's just, everybody is so backed up with production, it's crazy.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions or comments for the service director? Thank you, Ron. Building Commissioner Sack is excused. He's out of town on the conference. Recreation Director Stopp.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. Just one thing to add to my written report. Working with the Cleveland Monsters to have a Wickliffe Appreciation Night on Friday, November 3rd. And there are special pricing, almost like half off, and a couple different pricing categories. Information is on our website, but family and friends are welcome to get in on this Wickliffe Appreciation Night with the Cleveland Monsters downtown. That's it.
Any questions or comments for the Recreation Director? Councilman Gerhardstein.
Years past, you guys partnered with the high school for trick or treat for the kids. Is that going to continue even with the new campus?
This year, we're going to go and participate in their trunk or treat program, but we anticipate going back into the building next year.
Do you know when the school's trunk and treat program is this year?
Wednesday, October 25th, from 6 to 8, and it will be in the Premier Property parking lot, old ABB.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry, what time on the 25th?
From 6 to 8.
All right, thank you.
Any further questions or comments for the Recreation Director? Thank you, Tim. I will now open the floor for audience participation. If anyone would like to address Wickliffe City Council, please stand and state your name. For the clerk's record, the clerk does have a microphone because these meetings are recorded. Would anyone like to address Wickliffe City Council? Would anyone like to address Wickliffe City Council? If not, I'll mark audience participation closed. Committee reports. The Economic Development Euclid Avenue Committee met at October 2nd, 2023 at 7:05 p.m. In attendance were council members Levon, Jaworski, Gerhardstein, Soloto, Thielman, and also Mayor Sakis, Engineer Formica, and Service Director Strauser. Topic was the MS Consulting recommendations and rezoning. Councilman Jaworski opened with an overview of recent Planning Commission discussions and recommendations surrounding rezoning and Euclid Avenue development recommendations. Main discussion will be around the recommendations to create a general business zoning and move most of the Old Town Center zoning to general business. The Old Town Center included the Vittonio property, which the Planning Commission recommends should be divided into residential and industrial. Councilman Gerhardstein shared that we have much to talk about and we should leave the Ponderosa property or the Vittonio property for another time. He did remind us that the present developer is grandfathered into keeping the property zone to town center. Councilman Thielman spoke about not wanting to handcuff new development and an overlay zoning will be important to allow for flexibility. Our law director was not present, and it was mentioned by Councilman Jaworski that we need legal interpretation to discern who will be in charge of the initiatives, Planning Commission or City Council. We will reach out to him for further direction. Architectural review standards were discussed. It was shared that we will look to other city standards to assist us in writing new ones for Wickliffe. Councilman Gerhardstein briefly brought up the school properties and the concept of townhomes. It was shared that we need to define the types of townhomes we see as appropriate for the city. Councilman Levon stated that we will make many of these recommendations in phases. We will schedule regular update meetings to hear about new and evolving planning commission recommendations. This topic will stay in committee, meeting adjourned at 8:05, respectfully submitted, Councilwoman Saloto. Councilman Jaworski.
Wickliffe City Council Improvement Committee met on October 2nd, 2023. Present Jaworski, Levon, Thielman, Gerhardstein, and Saloto. Excuse Koski. Also present Mayor Sakis, Engineer Formica, Service Director Strauser, and Building Commissioner Sack. Meeting was called to order at 8:09 p.m. The committee discussed the Drennick Drive sewer lining project. Engineer Formica said the Ohio Department of Development asked the city to submit a proposal requesting $600,000 to reline the Drennick Drive main and lateral sanitary sewer. He estimated a rough cost, and emphasized rough, somewhere between $600,000 and $1 million for the project. The city also has ARPA grant funding that should cover the remainder of the funding. There is roughly $921,000 in funds remaining that will have to be committed by 2024. The city is using ARPA funds to reline the Palisade sewer and some sewer lining of East 296th. There's enough funding to cover the remaining costs of Drennick. This section of Drennick has a lot of groundwater infiltration, and Formica believes the Empire sewer is nearly as bad. Strauser said Euclid will raise their sewer rates 14% next year, so this is a way to help reduce costs by limiting some infiltration, but much more needs to be done. Council President Levon asked if the project would cover all of Drennick, and Formica replied yes, it will be from Twin Lakes to Euclid Avenue. The committee is in favor of this project and recommends council authorize the city engineer to create the plans and specifications for this project in order to advertise for the work. This item is reported out of the Improvement Committee. Meeting adjourned, 8:17, respectfully submitted.
Councilman Jaworski.
With that, Mr. Council President, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the city engineer to create the plans and specifications for the relining of the Drennick Drive sewer.
Second.
Oh, and for advertising.
Second.
Okay, moved by Councilman Jaworski, seconded by Councilman Gerhardstein, to authorize the city engineer to plan specs and advertising for the relining of the Drennick Drive sewer. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Gerhardstein.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Thielman.
Yes.
Okay, seeing no old business, new business. Councilman Jaworski?
Yeah, commission reports, I do have.
Oh, sorry, commission reports.
Planning Commission did meet last Thursday. They continued to workshop on the items from the EMS report. Specifically, we spoke a lot about the overlay district. We're not yet ready to make a final recommendation on that. There will be no one coming before Planning Commission in November, so at that meeting we are going to finish discussing and make our final recommendation on the overlay and also on the architectural review standards as well. There's some tightening up that we want to do and both of those things, and then I think we'll be ready for the final recommendations then.
Thank you, Councilman. Seeing no old business, moving to new business. A, liquor license application for Kieta Brown Liquid Asset Lounge. Kieta Brown, also known as Liquid Asset Lounge, 30300 Euclid Avenue. That is in Ward 4. I would say to the councilwoman who represents that ward, if she had any objections, to let the council clerk know, but she is not at this present meeting. So we're assuming that there's no objections to that liquor license. Move on to ordinances.
Ordinance number 2023-32 amended, an ordinance enacting Chapter 716 Entertainment Device Arcades of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Wickliffe, Ohio. This is the second reading. Ordinance number 2023-47, by title only, an ordinance authorizing the execution of a then and now certificate by the finance director to make payment on an invoice amount to Stryker Sales LLC and declaring an emergency.
That will have to stay on first reading.
Ordinance number 2023-48 by title only, an ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Wickliffe, Ohio to enter into a final LPA federal ODOT LET contract for signal and intersection improvements for State Route 84 Rockefeller Road, Buena Vista Drive, and State Route 84 Lincoln Road in the city of Wickliffe, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
That'll have to stay on first reading.
Ordinance number 2023-49 by title only, an ordinance providing appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Wickliffe, Ohio for the period beginning January 1st, 2023 and ending December 31st, 2023, and declaring an emergency.
That'll have to stay on first reading.
Ordinance number 2023-50, first reading by title only, an ordinance enacting Chapter 149.06, Officer Training Payment and Reimbursement of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Wickliffe, Ohio.
Resolutions.
Resolution number 2023-16 by title only, a resolution requesting the Lake County, Ohio Auditor to make advance payments of taxes, and this is the second reading. Resolution number 2023-17, a resolution authorizing the mayor of the city of Wickliffe, Ohio to submit an application to the District 7 Public Works Committee and the Ohio Public Works Commission for funding for the 2024 concrete pavement slab replacement program and declaring an emergency.
That'll stay on first reading.
Resolution number 2023-18, resolution authorizing the mayor of the city of Wickliffe, Ohio to submit an application to the District 7 Public Works Committee and the Ohio Public Works Commission for funding for the Ridge Road pavement improvements and declaring an emergency.
Well, that'll stay on first reading. Other legislation. Councilman Jaworski.
Not other legislation, but I do have a question for the city engineer. With Resolution 17 and 18, with us not able to vote on it tonight, will that endanger anything?
No, we'll put in, the final applications are due next week. I'll submit that with a blank, unsigned ordinance, or resolution, and put a note on there that council will be voting on this at the next hopefully at the next regular meeting. And we've done that in the past and it's been fine, so
Okay.
I'm hoping that'll be fine.
Thank you.
Thank you, though.
Any miscellaneous? Councilman Gerardstein.
I'd like to call a meeting for legislation and welfare for October 16th to discuss the nuisance activity ordinance. The police chief and the law director and I met last week and worked out the ordinance, and it's ready to present to the committee. And if I could please ask the clerk to notify the members of the committee that we have a meeting that night for 7 o'clock on the 16th.
Okay, we will have a meeting on October 16th, the Legislation and Welfare Committee meeting for the General Business Nuisance Ordinance at 7 p.m.
That's good. That's good for, okay, thank you guys.
I wanted to add one more thing to miscellaneous too. We didn't talk about the dredging of Green Ridge Golf Course to a degree, but I'd like to make a motion to allow the city engineer to create plans and specs and advertise for the dredging of the pond at the Green Ridge Golf Course.
Second.
Moved by Council President Levon, second by Councilman Gerardstein to authorize the city engineer to create plans and specifications and advertise for the dredging of the pond at the Green Ridge Golf Course. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Gerhardstein?
Yes.
Jaworski?
Yes.
Levon?
Yes.
Thielman?
Yes.
Might as well throw, we already have it, it's already in the committee, forget about that. Okay. Any other miscellaneous? Adjournment?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Gerhardstein, second by Councilman Thielman to adjourn the meeting. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Gerhardstein?
Yes.
Jaworski?
Yes.
Levon?
Yes.
Thielman?
Yes.